Go out there and ask 50 random people about what they think is the hardest degree in the world, and most of them will actually tell you it's medicine. I disagree. What's cooking, sapiens? Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Arham and I'm a 5th year medical student at the University of Oslo in Norway. Now, I'm not here to try and sugarcoat the reality of medical school to you, because I'm here to talk facts, and the facts, according to me, is that medical school is way too overrated. First of all, let's talk about the memorization aspect in medical school, because obviously you as a student will be thrown into an ocean of facts which you need to memorize. And one of the most common questions I do get as a medical student is that, Arham, how do doctors memorize and learn everything about the human body? Like, how can they keep all that information in their brains? And the answer is actually quite simple. They don't. The truth, my friends, is that you don't really remember most of the material that you actually studied or learned in medical school. It's not like readily available in your memory that you bang, okay, I can recall that fact. That's not how it works. However, if somebody tells you that, okay, this is how the treatment is, or this is the cause of this disease, then you're like, oh yeah, I remember that. I know, I have studied that. And then you are given these heavy textbooks to read and learn from pharmacology or pathology or whatever that may be. And you're told by your seniors and your teachers that you have to learn every single thing in these books if you want to really pass your exams and become a good doctor. However, the reality, my friends, is that most students, the majority, 75%, won't even read all these textbooks. And the minority, those 25% who do read these textbooks, first of all, won't read all of them or the book. Secondly, they won't even remember more than 25% of what they read in these books. And then again, what we remember, like the ones who don't really study from these textbooks, is the important stuff, because the important stuff is in the lecture PDFs. It's summarized in the PowerPoints that the lecturer or the teacher provided to you. So we also remember the same amount of material that the other students who did read these books actually remember. So it's kind of like nonsensical to me to be reading all these heavy books and trying to memorize every single thing, every single detail. I mean, you are just going to drown in the ocean in that way. And now medicine is also moving towards a whole new phase or a whole new world where you have everything accessible in your phones, right? You have applications and you're only 2 clicks away to find the exact dosage or the exact treatment of a specific condition. And now let's talk about the insane amount of course material that we actually have to learn, the curriculum of medical school. I do realize that that's actually insane. However, there are also different levels of this, and you as a student choose how much you want to learn. For example, let's talk about physiology, right? So you have all these different books in physiology, right? Let's say you have Boron, which is one of the most thickest, Bibles of physio. And then you have, let's say, Pocock, which is also a decently detailed book. I would say like a middle detailed book. And then you have, let's say, Sherwood, which is quite, like at the surface level of the ocean with some deep dives as well. Now let me compare this with diving in the ocean. So you have this one group of students who want to be the toppers, right? They are robotic students who study multiple hours every single day because they want to have grade A, 99% on every single exam and want to be like the highest achievers. Now these are the students who will be reading books like Boron and Bibles, reading or studying about everything to the molecular level and trying to memorize all the facts and all the details about every single topic. And these are the students, mind you, who do score well, but however, these are also the students who have very little social life, and also they are the ones who stress out, and these are the ones who you see crying before their exams because they're so stressed out. They have been overstudying all day long and now they are like completely freaking out and spreading rumors about how tough and how hard and challenging medical school really is. These students I call the scuba divers because they take a very deep dive into the ocean of medical knowledge. And then you have people and students like me who prefer to stay on the surface of the ocean, and I call students like myself as floaters because we like to float on the surface with some occasional deep dives. This way you will easily get around 70% on your exams, and I'm pretty much satisfied with that because then also I can have a social life and I can also do my YouTube thing, and I can have a job, I can have family, friends, hit the gym, I can do whatever I want with my life because I'm only aiming for 70% and I'm pretty much satisfied with that. The way I think about getting good grades in medical school or getting straight A's in medical school is that I would rather be, relaxing those 3 hours which I could spend studying to get all the extra details down, because in those 3 hours I could actually do so much more stuff, like other stuff which is like more valuable to me, compared to getting all those other details down. So that's what I prefer. I would rather have a C on my exam and then also have a social life and do tons of other stuff on the side than have A on every single exam and not really have a life outside of school. Let's talk about that one part about medical school or MBBS, which is actually quite tough and difficult, and that is the getting into medical school part. Here you have entrance exams, you have interviews, you have to be competing with other students, you have to outsmart everybody else because there is tons of competition, and you want to show that medical school why you should be given admission and not the others. So like that's pretty stressful, and you have to really do your best for getting into medical school, right? But once you do get into an MBBS, once you are a medical student, grades do not really matter because now you are into medical school, and by the end of those 5 or 6 years, everybody in your batch, or most of them, will be doctors, and nobody asks you after that whether or not you had an A in your anatomy exam, or you had a B in physiology, or you had a C in, let's say, I don't know, radiology, whatever. Nobody cares. Now there will be rough patches for sure, like in every other field, but it's in the best interest of your university, of your medical school, to keep you there, because not only for their own reputation but also to produce good doctors every single year. They have all these support systems like psychologists, advisors, options to retake your exams, to resit your semesters, or even take a gap year while you are a medical student in case you get burnt out. So they are basically trying every single thing that is in their power, in their control, to keep you in medical school and make sure that you graduate as a doctor one day. Another factor that creates this illusion that medical school is super duper challenging are YouTube channels, certain YouTube channels, and also TV shows, Netflix, TV serials. When you have TV shows like Grey's Anatomy, The Good Doctor, The Resident, Scrubs, This Is Going to Hurt, where they show that doctor, like one single doctor, is doing tons of different procedures. You have this one surgeon who's also performing orthopedic surgery, and the same surgeon is doing neurosurgery. The same surgeon is also doing GI surgery, and the same surgeon is also doing gynecological procedures. I mean, what the heck is that? That's as far from reality as it can get. Because this creates this false impression that doctors are these super saviors, superheroes, and one doctor is supposed to do everything. If you are a surgeon, neurosurgeon, you're also doing orthopedic surgeries and every single procedure. That is not how it works in reality, my friends. It's extremely specialized, and those specialists are even then sub-specialized, like super specialists in their fields. For example, you want to be a surgeon, then you can choose between different surgical specialties like cardiothoracic surgery, orthopedic surgery, GI surgery, obs and gynae, ENT, ophthalmology, etc., right? Neurosurgery. And let's say you actually end up choosing neurosurgery. Now, by the end of your specialization, you will be a neurosurgeon. But that's not where that ends. One neurosurgeon does not perform all types of neurosurgeries, because in the brain, you have different types of surgeries, different types of, illnesses, different types of traumas and injuries. And then you have these different types of neurosurgeons as well. Like, for example, one neurosurgeon will be performing surgeries related to, spinal decompression, and one surgeon will be performing surgeries related to VP shunts. And then you have these certain influencers and YouTube channels. I won't be naming any of them, guys, because that's not the point. The point being that these people show how much stressful medical school is. They show you like they're crying before their exams, they're stressing out, they're freaking out, they're having mental breakdowns, and you as a viewer, you as somebody who's watching that video and wants to be a medical student, you get this image inside your head that medical school or MBBS or MD is extremely tough and it's gonna be extremely challenging. And that's where the problem lies, because when you create this image from before, then you realize then things automatically get harder. So when you think something is going to be hard, it actually gets harder as well. Sapiens, in medical school, all that is tested is your ability to memorize, understand, and recall information and facts. And this is not the hardest thing in the world. Your creativity is never really challenged. You don't really have to, come up with completely new treatment ideas or completely new treatment plans. You're not supposed to discover new things. You're not supposed to plan projects or build something completely from scratch. All that you have to do is that you're given certain information that you have to learn, understand, and then recall. That's it. That's a wrap for today, Sapiens. I hope you found this video useful, and if you did, then please kiss that subscribe button before you leave, because that really motivates me and helps me a lot to grow this channel and create even more content for you guys. And in the meantime, you can watch this video, which will also add some value to your lives. I'll see you guys on the other side. Take care. Peace.